a craft distillery. We make everything from scratch. We do our own mashing, fermenting, and distilling. What really separates us as an American whiskey from other American distillers is that we do single grain whiskeys only, and we really highlight grains that have been forgotten or even perhaps never distilled in the US. So we do a rye, an oat, a wheat, a spelt, and a millet. Our distillers are a couple, and she grew up in Chicago, and the master distiller, Robert, grew up in Austria. So his techniques and his heritage are much different from the other American distillers that grew up in the US. And it's the fact that we do single grain whiskeys, and also our still, which is right behind me. We get a custom made still from Koval, which is a German still company. And it's a combination of pot still with column distillation. And it really gets these unique fruity flavors and really highlights the grains. You know, there was one more thing that really makes Koval unique in its distillation technique, is that when our distiller makes his distiller's cut, he's only taking the heart of the distillate. That's not the case for most American distillers, who take the hearts and a little of the tails,
really?
The tail end of the distillate. American distillers classically feel that tails give a whiskey a lot of flavor. The coat the pot still, it's mostly in the shape of the still. There's a long swan neck and an elongated whiskey helmet. So just the shape there is pretty unique. And they also, what's really unique in our coat the pot stills is the pot still and the column still are actually combined. A lot of other distillers keep those technologies very separate. And for us, it actually goes to the pot still first, and the spirit or the vapors actually travel to the column still for further rectification before they're condensed back and come off the still. Out of our white whiskeys, probably the rye Chicago. I think rye as a grain is the most complex. It's also the hardest to distill, but it yields these wonderful fruity and floral notes, and it finishes off with a kind of a peppery finish. We are, actually. We have recently distilled our first whiskey that has a blended grain mash bill. And what happened is someone had sent us some malted barley as a sample, a grain sample. We found it in the back. It'd been back there for a couple months, just hanging out. And we decided, well, we might as well make something with this. So we combined several of the grains that we already distilled with the malted barley. I think some rye, some oats, some millet, maybe a little wheat. And we distilled that, and we aged it in a quarter cask.
So a smaller one than those behind.
Yep, and it's going to be called the 47th Ward Blend because we were in the 47th Ward of Chicago, and it's only really going to be available here in the city.
Awesome. So we must visit Chicago to get a taste of it.
Yes.
When is it going to be released?
In a couple weeks, actually.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you for your time, and cheers.
Cheers.